If your idea of working with a technical publication is to send quarterly press releases and maybe run some ads from time to time, then boy, have I got the episode for you. On today's show, I'm bringing on the long-standing publisher of embedded computing design, and together we'll explore the many, many ways you can partner with technical publications to grow awareness and reach new audiences, even to do lead gen too. And we'll cover things from webinars to trade shows to e-newsletters to LinkedIn. I mean, listen, we touch it all here. And by the end of the episode, I know I had a different idea of how to partner with tech pubs, as well as a better understanding for small businesses of how to get started, even some free ways to get your information out there on these technical publication sites. Let's do this.
Welcome to Content Marketing Engineered, your source for building trust and generating demand with technical content. Here is your host, Wendy Covey.
Hi, and welcome to Content Marketing Engineered. On each episode, I'll break down an industry trend, challenge, or best practice in reaching technical audiences. You'll meet colleagues, friends, and clients of mine who will stop by to share their stories. And I hope that you leave each episode feeling inspired and ready to take action. Before we jump in, I'd like to give a brief shout out to my agency, True Marketing. True is a full-service agency located in beautiful Austin, Texas, serving highly technical companies. For more information, visit truemarketing.com. And now, on with our podcast. Hey, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Content Marketing Engineered. I'm joined today by Pat Hopper. He is the publisher and president of OpenSystems Media. Welcome to the show, Pat.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here.
Me too. And for those listening that don't know OpenSystems Media, I bet they will know what you publish, which is the embedded computing design as well as military embedded systems. So two very well-known publications if you're in the world of embedded.
You got it. You got it. And we've been doing business together since late 90s, I hate to say, in your earlier life. And so it's been exciting for me to be back on the show here and back reconnecting with you.
Yeah, same. I know. We could probably spend a whole episode on just all the trade show antics from the 90s, like the dancers and all kinds of crazy stuff. Oh, man. Well, speaking of, you've been in publishing for almost 30 years since we're dating ourselves here. And I mean, you've seen a lot of change. So as a publisher, what are some of the key moments that stand out to you?
Well, it was interesting because obviously I started on the print side of things. So I was there and our company was digital, one of the first companies to really go digital first. So it was exciting to make that transition. We still have print magazines and in some of our segments like military, they're still very strong. And then once the digital side took over, then the focus really shifted to lead generation. And now the shift from lead generation to using AI tools, grading leads, scoring leads, and really qualifying the leads. And, it's always a challenge trying to put the right people in front of the right clients. And we spend a lot of time and effort to do that.
And it's interesting to hear a publisher talk about things that I think of as the marketer's domain of how do we find those leads and qualify them and nurture them. So I will be interested to get in your head a little bit about like how do we do that with a publisher? What? I thought you guys are all like PR and articles and stuff like that. No,
we have a part for that, but my feet are a little bit straddled on the content side as well as helping our clients, get what they want out of their media spends.
Yeah. Well, I think in the spirit of that, we'll save all the publication stuff to the end and instead talk about all the ways that marketers may not know that you can be working with them. So one is trade shows. And I know this is a passion of yours. And as you know, it's a passion of mine from back in my NI days. So how do you work with marketers to help them approach trade shows in a more holistic manner?
Yeah, good question. So this year we actually have both Electronica and Embedded World coming up. These are two of Germany's biggest shows, really catering to the industrial space, which is right up your alley. In fact, I brought my T-shirt out from a couple years ago. That's from Embedded World. Every Embedded World, we hand out about 1,000 T-shirts. And this one is the background of Nuremberg. The translation is "Stay healthy." So this was kind of post-COVID, as everybody's getting back to their shows, and really the Germans are really excited about getting T-shirts and swag, just like anybody else is in the United States. Um, and we do a lot at shows. So, one thing you're going to hear us talking about a lot is content. And we do everything from content to best in show awards to lead generation and awareness. And the biggest challenge at shows in Germany specifically is they're so huge. Obscurity, like if you have a 10 by 10, 20 by 10, 30 by 30 booth, you may never even get noticed. So what our job is as a media publisher is to help get content out, help get products out, help drive traffic to the booth, the things that 1,000 exhibitors really need help doing. So we're pretty successful at it. We don't always start that way, but every year we learn something new and we add more and more products, and the clients are becoming more sophisticated. And in Europe, we're dealing with GDPR. So we have to get those GDPR qualified leads. So anyways, that's something that we do. We do speaking. So Electronica uses us to host speaking on AI and IoT. We have our own speaking sessions inside of Embedded World. So these are great areas for subject matter experts to really get in front of the engineer and talk with them one-on-one.
Yeah, I've been to that one in Nuremberg pre-COVID, so I missed your T-shirt though. I bet you had a different one.
We did have a different one.
Here.
Yes, we did.
And just to echo what you said about, such a giant show. So to stand out in those small booths, you really have to be scrappy and think holistically, think digital and physical presence. I know a lot of these shows do best in show. And so that's another way to at least get noticed, even if you don't win, just to be, on that ballot is helpful too, right?
Yep. And then creating content around that, having if you got nominated, you won the award, there's pictures of your team, there's awards that go on your booth that we produce. So all those things are little pieces of content that we're all trying to figure out what they are. And a simple award like that is something that is very useful and something that you should be proud of from a client perspective.
How are trade shows doing in the US, in your opinion? Has attendance come back since pre-COVID? Is it growing?
Well, we're really just starting to see it. Our team just got back from CES, which is, the name is not as relevant as I guess it was in the past. It should be automotive show. Simply, they have so much automotive stuff, and it's really something our editors enjoy going to. It's a lot of hard work and moving around a lot. So that's still strong. We're waiting. One of the big announcements is Embedded World North America is coming to your backyard in Austin. And we're really excited about that. We're on the content team and the marketing team. So we're really excited to have a show come with a great reputation coming to the United States. And we're hoping, one of the things is it's great to have a trade show, but it's also great for networking and meeting with your friends and meeting with your clients and partners and getting in one spot and one time. I really enjoy it when a good show comes together, from content to speaking opportunities to classes and sessions, and then a great show experience. So we're excited about that.
All right. And me too, to have you guys come into my backyard. When is it? In October of 2020?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, let's shift gears then and leave the world of trade shows and think more campaigns. So, often we'll work with clients to launch a product or launch a campaign around, say, an industry standard or some sort of industry trend. And I'm curious how our clients and those listening that are working on a campaign here. It's the beginning of the year, right? We're all spinning things up right now. What are some ways in which you partner with companies to help extend the reach?
Yeah. So first of all, you'll hear me say this over and over. We love content. Content is always free to submit to us. We love our blogs. We encourage people to write a series of blogs. The old days of writing a press release once a quarter are over. You know that. Like, we want something on the website every month. And if we can get it, we love it. We have uh, our goal is 5 pieces of content every day. So all the content that flows from the website goes right to our daily, weekly newsletters. And then from there, it goes to LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. So just by getting content on our site, we're really able to post it in several different areas. And so that's exciting for us. And it should be exciting for the clients as well,
Oh,
is that
absolutely.
in our turnaround time is often 24 to 48 hours. So if you have a blog, or if you're associating a blog with a press release that's coming out, with a white paper campaign, we can have all these things flow out, 1 week after another, to get a consistent message out for your clients.
Cool. And not only obviously is that exciting to have a company's just information put in front of your community, but it also helps with search, right? That's an
Mm,
optimization play. The more ways you can have your company associated with a certain topic, with this certain spokesperson outside of your owned properties, as well as on your own properties, you'll do better at ranking. So, and of course,
yeah.
reach
Yeah, and you know what?
targeting.
I'd say that get the content off your website and onto other people's website, because the Google algorithm, certainly I don't know it, but one of the key elements is having sites with greater traffic linking back to you is the number one thing you can do. So if you're a small, medium size exhibitor or client, then it is so important to have that content being featured on our site, linking back. It's also, Google's going to look at it on Twitter. They're going to see it on LinkedIn. All these things are going to increase your search optimization. So it's all good when it comes to content.
Yeah.
The other thing that I'll add is, and this, is that we want to meet engineers where they are. So younger engineers might be on YouTube. You and I have off screen here have talked about podcasts, all the different ways for subject matter experts to talk one-on-one with the engineering community and with our editors. So that's another thing, is like just being in as many different places as you can is so key and relevant.
Yeah, I have a question for you on back on those blogs real quick. So, if someone
Mhm.
wanted to submit a blog, but they're considering putting something on their own website, are you looking for original blog content that's exclusive for your site? Yes, I see you
Yeah,
nodding. So
yeah,
that's important
definitely.
to bring up. Yeah,
Yeah, Google does not like duplicate content. So even we rewrite press releases so we're not getting penalized by Google for duplicate content.
right.
I encourage that if you have an interest, let us know before you write the blog. Write us an abstract, get in touch with an editor and brainstorm about what you want. We talk about a problem and solution methodology. So with our blog, so here's a problem, here's a solution, and then, oh, by the way, here's a link back to our website where we discuss more about that solution. So we want to make the content technical in nature, and we want to help the engineers who follow us do their job better. So
Sense.
another key thing that we've said is go talk to your engineers and hear, or your FAEs, and hear what the number one thing that they hear people asking them, like, how do I do this? How do I do that? What's the best tool to use for this program? So write a blog around those type things. And so when those engineers are out there searching, they're going to have your blog come up first.
That's great. So if I'm a marketer, I'm launching a content campaign, I have a central theme, I have all these topics I can write about. I think that's helpful to understand the types of things you're looking for in a blog, and that would fulfill that. And then for my own property, I might take it in a different direction that's more oriented towards my solutions and my products. So uh,
Mhm.
I believe yours would be perhaps more trend forward or more how to forward, depending on the nature of the topic, and then more
Mhm.
solutions oriented back on someone's website.
Yeah, and we've done things with a lot of different clients. We just finished a campaign with Renaissance where there was a whole series on AI that we worked with them on. So if there is a topic, from automotive to AI to generative AI, whatever these topics are, you can talk to our team and we can work with you to build something every month. And we can have these content pieces. We can reference the other articles in the article. So you're just constantly building more and more traffic and more awareness.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the series. Those do perform quite well. So great
Mhm.
strategy there. Well, let's go back to podcasts. You briefly mentioned podcasts, and I know that you produce 3 of them.
Mhm.
So what are they? Why did you start them, and how's it going?
So we started our most popular is our Embedded Insiders podcast, where our editorial team kind of spitballs back and forth with what's going on each week in the embedded space. So we talk about CES, we'll talk about embedded world, we'll talk about NVIDIA GTC or a new launch from a major chip vendor. And then we'll bring a guest in that kind of flows into what we're talking about. So that's the embedded insiders. And then we have an embedded executive, which is perfect for subject matter experts. And we're not talking company or product specific. We're talking overall things that are happening in our space. It's a one-on-one podcast with our editor, Rich Nass, and a C-level executive from any client in the IoT AI space. And then we have a dev talk where Rich Nass and Vin D'Agostino talk about different things that are affecting engineers in their community right now.
Okay. Very good. So if someone was looking to develop more thought leadership activities for one of their executives, it sounds like it's executive, but also technical leaning on that
Mhm.
executive podcast. Is that correct?
Yeah, yep. And then, we can take that same subject matter expert and go to a show like Embedded World or Electronica and have them sit on stage and talk in front of hundreds of engineers as well. So there's
Sure.
a lot of ways that we can build on each of these things and create another piece of content.
Love it. Love it. Well, another area where I've seen you be very active is LinkedIn. I mean, all the time you're in my feed. So I want to compliment you on whatever you're doing. It's working because you've been top of mind for me. So, what are some of your favorite things about LinkedIn? They've added a lot of features in the past year or two. And what advice do you have for marketers wanting to do more in LinkedIn?
So I fell in love with LinkedIn in about 2006. So I'm like an old hand
You
at
know the
this.
year. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is
So there's
ancient
not.
in LinkedIn years.
Yes. Yeah. So there's 19,000 people that follow me. Each week, my posts generate about 50,000 impressions. So, and these are all impressions from the content pieces that are coming from our website. So all these articles and blogs and news items, I'm pushing out on LinkedIn. So like we have groups that have over 200,000 followers. So it's, if I have something on ADAS, I can go into an automotive group or a real-time group or an AI group and post different content pieces. I can recommend them. I can pin them to the top. So I love the LinkedIn groups. We have 2 LinkedIn newsletters. That one that comes out daily to 8,000 engineers that gets about 1,000 to 2,000 views every day. We have another one on embedded AI that comes out every Wednesday. So that's exciting. I mean, we've all seen that you can write now, if you have a post on LinkedIn, you can use AI to, um, fix your post if you don't like the way it looks or get another look at it. I don't recommend it totally, but it certainly gives you a different perspective. So that is great. There's LinkedIn Live that's working. We use Navigator. So there's a whole bunch of tools that we use inside of Navigator to follow and monitor different people and groups. So again, when it comes to that side of things, it's all about driving the right leads for our clients. So we're prospecting, we're using all these things to really get in front of our clients. It's to me one of our more successful, or if not most successful, tools. And many times I'll reach out to people via a LinkedIn message before I do an email message. It's just a different way to grab somebody's attention. So
Yeah, yeah. It's short, It's sweet. It's, if you do it right and it's personalized, it doesn't get ignored quite as easily as email, at least for now. I'm
Yeah,
with
and they have a really good intuitive advertising program as well. So there's a lot of, if you're going to if a trade show and you know all the exhibitors and you know who you're trying to target, you want to book meetings, you want to get their press releases, you want to just engage with these people. There's so many neat ways to do that now, and it's all at your fingertips. And so we not only use it for ourselves, but we use it for our clients too. We've had obscure things like we're looking for aviation engineers from in Turkey to, putting butts in seats, and the company had 6 different lunch and learn type engineering events across the country, and we had to put 50 people in 6 different cities. So there's a lot of neat things like that that open up the doors, that besides just an outbound email campaign.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I have no doubt that you had e-newsletters before you started utilizing LinkedIn newsletters.
Mhm.
How are you managing the two? Are you replicating things? Have you dropped your email ones? How are you approaching that?
No, in fact, we just added another one this year on embedded AI. AI is obviously what everybody's talking about, so we have to be at the forefront on
Yes.
that, and we have a database. We have a LinkedIn group, a LinkedIn fan page, and a Twitter group, all on that topic. So it makes sense that we're hitting a different segment than our normal database
Mm,
with LinkedIn. So, I just feel that engineers are able to go freely around LinkedIn. They can follow us when they want to, and that may lead them to come back into as a lead into another campaign or as a newsletter, or they may just stay on LinkedIn and never cross over into our database as well. So,
see,
uh,
so you see them as somewhat distinct audiences. Obviously, there's some overlap, but okay, okay,
mhm.
good.
Yeah, and there's one of the challenges that I'm sure you have too is LinkedIn has a lot of personal email addresses, and where our partners are really looking for corporate email addresses, and there's different things like that. So they're geographically dispersed. The teams are in Romania, in India, in the Czech Republic, and so all over the world. So if our goal is to educate and make engineers' lives better, it doesn't end in the United States. It goes into Europe, and it goes into Asia, and into the Middle East, South America. So that's what we do.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I have a few other
Sure.
questions for you. I love this rapid fire, like by channel. How about webinars? Webinars were huge during COVID
Mhm.
times, but now we see the return of in-person trade shows. So, what do you think in 2024? Are we going to see growth, shrinkage? What's your outlook?
Good question. So they were actually big before COVID, but they were media specific many times. And then COVID hit, and then everybody said, "Well, gee, we can do some of these on our own." And then we're going to use publishers to supplement the number of people that get there. And then you need to have a dedicated webcast manager, and then you have to use a platform, and you have to buy the whole year out. And so they're still quite popular. One of the things that, and we do a ton of them, and we build them into specific days like AI days and smart manufacturing
Mm,
and IoT security and automotive.
yeah.
But I think one of the things is like, what is going to help you stand out a little bit different? Can we take that content piece now and then use AI and create an ebook out of it and then make a downloadable ebook? Can we take a piece and put it on YouTube and with a link back to register for it? So I think these are some of the things that are really neat. We have people asking us if they were in a co-sponsored event with 3 or 4 people, can we cut out the other 3 people, just have my section, put a custom brand in front of it, create a video out of it? So the clients are really pushing us to be more creative, and then that in turn helps us to be more creative in coming up with new ideas.
Yeah.
So I think they're here to stay. I think that, but adding more and more value behind each webinar is going to be more and more the challenge.
Very good. So that reuse, getting more ROI
Mhm.
that initial presentation investment. So good.
Yeah, and like we talked about content, but like a piece of content is a webinar. A piece of content could be an ebook converted from that. It could be a short video. It could be a video after where your subject matter is introducing what's coming up in this webinar. So there's a lot of things like that, and that might also lead to going to do a live webinar at a trade show where maybe we're on LinkedIn Live and we're doing something live from Embedded World or Electronica. So I think we just have to expand the way we think of a webinar and expand kind of what other pieces of content we could take out of it.
Yeah, yeah. And that's kind of full circle back to the beginning when we talked about campaigns, right?
Yeah.
Starts with this
Mhm.
integrated campaign where what is your theme? What are your topics? What are your goals out of this? And then what are all the ways you can create content and then amplify and reuse that content? So
Yeah.
that's really, you and I think are the same mind when it comes to marketing strategy. Well, we'd be remiss if we did not talk about your publication, Embedded Computing Design. So, for those that are listening that may not, yeah, you got it on your shirt. So those just listening, you can't see the nice logo you have going on there, but just give me a quick overview. What is this publication about?
Sure. So we're one of the largest sources covering embedded computing, and underneath the embedded computing umbrella, we have newsletters that cater to. We have an embedded daily. We have a Europe one. We have IoT design, embedded AI, and machine learning. So those are kind of our newsletters. And then we also the key areas that we cover are industrial. That's our sweet spot, and that's where you and I really cross paths quite a bit. Automotive is very hot. Me being from Detroit, and I mean, the market is just going to be exploding on that side of things. To medical, to consumer. So there's a lot of areas that we're kind of getting into, and where we live, quite honestly. But pretty much, if you have something in this AI for industrial, IoT or IoT for industrial, embedded on the industrial or automotive side, your paths are going to come across with us at some point, and then hopefully we can get some content on our site and build a relationship.
So I hear the words AI a lot
Yes.
throughout this episode, IoT. So starting with those, but maybe going a little deeper, are there particular themes or topics you're excited about, you guys plan to focus on to kind of inspire people on the content front?
Yeah. So AI, really, there's machine learning, computer vision, all under those things, industrial, predictive maintenance, all of those type things are really a hot area for us right now. Robotics, automatic mobile robotics, AMRs. We're seeing a lot of activity around that. GTC is coming up in a couple months, NVIDIA's show, and they're always so cool to watch and see all the exciting applications and demos that are coming out of there. So we're really excited about that. On the automotive side, then we have autonomous driving and EVs and all of those type things as well. So there's in the next couple of years here, we're really going to have a lot of exciting technologies coming out, and it's going to be exciting to cover them.
I mean, you're going to have your work cut out, or your editorial staff will, for
Yes,
sure,
yes.
with the rapid change. Well, if there's a marketer listening that says, "Oh, wait, that aligns with our offerings and what we have going on this year," what are some first steps to engage with you?
So on embeddedcomputing.com, at the bottom on the right-hand side, we have a submit button. And right there, one of the things I encourage people to use all of our free services. You can submit a news, you can submit a blog, you can submit a press release, get all that material in front of us, and let's start getting it out. So that's number one, is use our free services. Number two, use it frequently. So you should, obviously the $1 billion vendors that we partner with, have huge teams and they're engaged with our editorial teams all the time. But we're also talking to small vendors as well. And so use us as often as you want. Use us monthly. Don't get stuck into once a quarter type press release type thing. And then I encourage you, and as you're looking at your campaigns, your product launches, what are the content pieces that can come out around a product launch? It should not be just a press release. It should be a press release. It should be a blog contribution. It should be your subject matter talking to our editor on an embedded executive podcast. These are all great pieces of content that are coming out. And then if all of these things lead up to an event that you're going to, then use us as the event gets closer. Like we have a popular series called The Road to Embedded World, where exhibitors will write in about what the demos that are showing at their booth, what their booth number is, how to engage with the FAEs at the show, all of these type things. So we're really trying to get those pieces of content out before events, and then right before an event with a product launch, a best in show, and then during an event, with another set of content that's coming out as well. So use us. It's free in many instances. So that's my recommendation.
So even if you're a tiny company, don't feel like there isn't a place for you.
Yes, get your content off your website and onto another person's website like ours. It'll help you.
You can have content on your website too. I'm going to say this is the genius of the and, not the or, but it's different content. I think we can agree on that it's unique content in each place for sure.
Unique content in each place, definitely. And it's not only the written word, it's YouTube, it's all of these other areas that we'd love to engage with you on.
Absolutely. Okay. So embeddedcomputing.com, and then also your military publication. Remind me of the URL for.
It's militaryembedded.com, and we cover avionics, cybersecurity, AI, uncrewed, and then a lot of the standards like there's SOSA and FACE, which are a lot of military standards that we partake or that we work with. We work with a lot of trade associations as well, from Eclipse to PICMIG and lots of other trade organizations that also need content. They, need things at different trade shows. So we're always happy to work with other trade organizations as well.
Okay, very good. And then if listeners would like to connect with you on LinkedIn, you're at Patrick Hopper. Right.
You got it.
Patrick, you got the full
You got it. Patrick Hopper.
All right.
So I'm happy to, I very rarely turn down a request. So hopefully I'd love to engage with you.
Okay. Well, any final words of advice? Boy, you've had some great takeaways up until now, but anything we haven't covered today?
I think we nailed it. From your side of things, being on marketing side and helping your clients, everybody needs a little push in the right direction. And whether you're a media company encouraging a client or having a client, having an agency help a client, get to that next step. The first thing in anything you do is take that first step. And we really encourage you to do that. And I'm sure whether it's myself or you, we're always happy to have at least a conversation to see how we can help you.
Absolutely. Well, Pat, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you coming on.
Oh, this has been great. Thank you.
Thanks for joining me today on Content Marketing Engineered. For show notes, including links to resources, visit truemarketing.com/podcast. While there, you can subscribe to our blog and our newsletter and order a copy of my book, Content Marketing Engineered. Also, I would love your reviews on this podcast. So please, when you get a chance, subscribe and leave me your review on your favorite podcast subscription platform. Thanks and have a great day.